What is up, guys? I am back, I guess, with another review of, I guess, what you can call a trilogy. I just saw the newest Star Wars trilogy. I think it was called The Rise of the Skywalker, the newest in the Star Wars trilogy, the ninth film. It's probably not the ninth film. You got a Han Solo that was a one-off. You also got a Rogue One, which was a one-off. You're probably gonna have a lot more one-offs farther down the series because Disney wants to milk this fucking udder of the Star Wars cow. Now, all I can say is that I heard past reviews about it. Oh, spoilers, by the way. I'm gonna just go into it and just say what I want to say. I'm gonna try my best to put a little more personality into this video because the last video, let's just say I felt like there was just a lack of just me in there. It was just a retelling of what I thought. It just felt really scripted, and this one's just gonna be me rambling. So, good luck. So, if you want a very quick summary of what happened, Finn, Poe, Rey find out that Kylo found the Emperor on some random Sith planet. They decide they need to go and kill the Emperor because he has death machines. He has an entire fleet fit with star destroyers or planet boomers, and they have to go and stop him before he sets the final order up onto the universe and the galaxy, and where they just yeet planets out of the solar system. Now, what happens is that to find this mysterious Sith planet, you need a triangle Illuminati device. That's the only way to find the Sith planet. There's only two made. Kylo found one. They have to go on an adventure and find another one. Turns out that Rey's parents were killed. The guy had the triangle so he could take Rey to the Emperor because, lo and behold, huge spoiler, Rey is the granddaughter of the Emperor, which makes no goddamn fucking sense. Because wouldn't that mean if she was the granddaughter of the Emperor who has been in all fucking 9 movies, shouldn't Rey be a little older? Or did the Emperor's clone just get jiggy with it and have kids? I don't know. I don't fucking know. And the Sith guy dies on the planet that Rey was hiding on. It's really not a good plot line, to be quite honest. Rey and Finn and Poe somehow find this dagger, the dagger that has information about where the pyramid is. C-3PO can read it, but it's in an ancient Sith language, which he is not allowed to read because whoever programmed him forbade it. He cracks open C-3PO. They read the information. Turns out that the last known pyramid is on the Death Star. Plotline. Rey and Kylo Ren have been having the weirdest fight scenes of all time because they're having mind battle. There are wormholes. So if Rey was the beginning of one wormhole and Kylo was the end of another wormhole, they could send things through each other and the other one can receive it. So weird. Makes no sense. Just saying. I mean, that you can do whatever you want, but just make sure that you just didn't pull it out of your butt, okay? Because it smells like shit when you do that. And it looks like shit when you do that. It looks like you don't know what you're doing. And anyway, we go farther into it. She has a vision that she and Kylo are the Sith Lords together, and that they're all bad and evil. And that was actually the coolest part of Rey. When she was a Sith, she actually was badass looking. And she's having this trouble fighting the dark side. And, her and Kylo's trying to say, hey, let's be Sith Lords together because it'd be pretty cool. And when they're fighting, unfortunately, Leia's like, I have to sacrifice myself to reach my son for whatever reason. And so she reaches her son. And then she reaches him. And during that, Rey stabs him. And he has like an epiphany. I don't know what his mom said to him. Maybe she was like, I still love you. Anyway, after that, he kind of gets good again. He has a whole scene with his dad. They make up, and you just see Harrison Ford stroke Kylo Ren's face, like, really weirdly. And then Rey has this epiphany with Luke, who comes back as a ghost, and just like, here's Leia's saber, and here's my saber. Use our sabers together. Because apparently Leia's a Jedi. She apparently has been a Jedi this entire time. Not a full-fledged Jedi, but a Jedi. Anyway, Rey goes to the planet that the Emperor is on with the final order, like 10,000 ships, all fit with planet destroyers. She goes there by herself. She's sending coordinates that the what do you call them again? The rebels? Sorry. The rebels can go and follow her into their death. She goes there, tries to confront the Emperor. The Emperor's like, you're my daughter, or you're my granddaughter. Family. Pick up where I left off. Kill me. And all the Sith will live inside of you. Which is like a really weird thing to say to your, like, that's the first thing you say to your granddaughter. Not like, sorry I killed your parents in front of you, or sorry I didn't get you sooner. Just let the Sith be inside you. I'll be inside you when you kill me. Weirdest bonding moment. And then Kylo Ben, same thing. Comes in out of nowhere, helping her out. He kind of like fights some stuff, and they have this weird bonding moment. This is where God. And then they try to fight the Emperor. The Emperor finds out that he can suck the life out of him, and he uses it to renew his body, because apparently he was decaying. He renews it and kind of yeets Ben off a cliff, and Rey's just kind of laying there like a comatose victim, kind of like her character development. But then the Emperor kind of just holds up his hands, and with his old gnarly fingers, he sends lightning to the sky, and they all zap stuff. And it's not looking good. And then Rey uses her lightsaber and says, all the Jedis live within me. And she approaches the Emperor. He zaps her. She blocks it with her lightsaber. And then he's like, you can't stop me. And then she says, it's like, watch this, dude. And she grabs the other saber from, like, Leia. And she creates an X and just kind of backhands his lightning back at him. And that's how he dies. That's how he dies. He gets lightning slammed back at him. His own lightning. He could have just stopped shooting the lightning at her lightsabers. And that's how he dies. And then she crumples to the floor like a wet paper bag. They destroy the fleet. Kylo, somehow, like the brilliant man that he is, climbs out of wherever he's been yeeted in. And it's like, oh my God, Rey. You're so fucking weak. And then he grabs her and puts his life force into her. She comes back to life. She says his name, and then they kiss. And then he dies. and Rey lives. Ben dies, Kylo Ren dies, and Rey lives. And then everybody's happy, like, oh, end of the film, blah, 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 blah. Everybody's like, oh, we've defeated the Order. And then Rey buries Leia's and Luke's lightsabers in Luke's home planet, like where Luke was raised, and a woman out of nowhere says, "Who are you?" And Rey says, "I'm Rey." Rey who? Rey Skywalker. And then the film cuts to credits. I did a terrible retelling of that movie because it was not good. That retelling was basically the 2.5 hours that I sat through. Now, I love the Star Wars universe, but this was not a good movie. If you even take away the story, if you just took away the awfulness of what that story was about, what it surrounded, even the action wasn't good. I'd try to take a step back, say, if the story wasn't good, okay, can I just enjoy it as a film? And I can't. Because it was so bad. And I know IMDb gave it a 7, right? But I would give it probably a 5. I didn't think that the actors were at fault. Because you can cast, let's say, C or B actors and still have a really good story and still have really good action. And you can make those characters, or you can make those actors A-listers because of your good movie. Now, I know the other two movies weren't great, but I would say this is awful. And awful just means go in it with no expectations and you receive nothing. It's literally 0 multiplying by 0 is still 0. So you go in with 0 expectations, they multiply it by nothing, and you come out of there regretting the 2.5 hours that you spent and the $10 per ticket. Now, do I think that if you're a Star Wars fan that you should go see it? Yes, I think you should go see it just because it's the last film of the trilogy. But if you can enjoy it without thinking too hard about the story and thinking about the story and just realizing how stupid it is, then you can enjoy it. I can't go in there and think of that because I think it's horrible that they go in and say, who should be the main bad guy? You know what? He's been dead for at least 2 films. Let's bring back the Emperor. And you just have him back. Why? In no other films maybe they alluded to it, but it makes no sense. Just make a new bad guy. If you make a new bad guy, you have some stake in it. You bring in the new bad guy from the first film. You kind of introduce him in the first film. In the first, I guess, in the 7th film, I guess. You introduce him in the 7th film. You make his plans really bad in the 8th film. Maybe you kill him off in the 8th film. And then in the 9th film, that's when the final battle happens. You didn't have those stakes in this. You really didn't. And at least that's what I felt. I felt like there was no continuous evil guy because you knew Kylo Ren wasn't all that bad. You know that he was going to be a good guy. Oh, God. The ending just really irks me because I feel like there is such character development with Kylo Ren that should have been used for Rey, because it would have been way more interesting to have the main character be bad or think they're bad, and then all of a sudden, they forgive themselves for all their mistakes, or or whatever, because that's basically what happens with Kylo Ren. He realizes that he made a horrible mistake trying to pursue the reputation of his grandfather and trying to gain power, and in all reality, he probably just wanted to make his parents proud, and I can't believe they killed him. He didn't deserve to die, in my opinion. Rey could have died, or Rey and Ben could have, I guess, had kids, because it's the rise of the Skywalker. It would have been really interesting. Technically, Ben is the last, Skywalker, even though it's, Solo or Han Solo boy or whatever. He still has the Skywalker blood in him. And then you have Rey. It's Palpatine. Last name was Palpatine. You have Rey, who has Palpatine's blood, right? Bad blood. They have kids. They kind of fight with their good, bad, kind of push and pull of the Force. And they teach their kids, not everything's black and white. Not everything's good or evil. And you kind of have them make their own, little set of gray Jedis, which are both have aspects of good and bad of the Force. Now, that would have been a much better ending, in my opinion. Or you just don't have Palpatine there at all, the Emperor. You don't have Emperor Palpatine in there at all. You actually create a good bad guy, and you don't stumble as you write these films, because it felt like they were stumbling. They were trying to tie loose ends that shouldn't have ever been loose at all. And it was just a combination of poor writing and poor planning and just nothing going right. Oh, I don't even know how to, I don't feel good rethinking of that film. Now, you can have your own opinion. Well, you're entitled to your own opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And just because I said something and I'm posting it on the internet doesn't mean that it's not entitled to criticism. And if you enjoyed the movie, I'm happy, because I would love to enjoy that movie. I would love to enjoy a Star Wars film. And not just internally cringe every time I see something. But I wanted to like it. I would love to like a Star Wars film. I pulled my hair. Whoops. Do I want to hate things? No. Do I want to like things that are good? Yes. I will not lower my expectations for films because it might suit me and might not give me a headache when I'm watching it. But movie was not to par. And I hope that Disney learns from this and creates characters that are good and creates bad guys that are good and makes a story that makes sense and is good. Just make a good movie. It has a beginning, middle, and end. It has a protagonist, an antagonist. It has a couple of good side characters. And hopefully they can make a good film, because that's what I want. Although I don't want Disney to make any more money than the billions of dollars they already do. But please, don't lower your standards and then feed it to us and say this is just as good as what it was before. Because it's not. Just don't lie and say that this is going to be a good film when it's not. And don't have the critics say that this is going to be a good film and it's not. Because we all know that somewhere deep in Hollywood, that some critics get just paid off to say one thing and give it 100% or whatever, and give it a good reading or rating because it's girl empowerment. I'm a girl, and I didn't feel empowered after watching that. I felt embarrassed. I felt embarrassed that they were literally giving her every single crutch, and she had every opportunity to be a strong character. Just a strong character. You don't need to put female in there. She can just be a strong character. She doesn't need to be a strong female character. Characters should be good whether they're male or female. and you should not lower your standards because you think females should have a different viewpoint than a male character. They made Rey a little more unlikable in this film than I thought that she needed to be. She seemed so distracted and so set on her own thing and so selfish that it just lost the bigger picture. It felt like a crying child at some points, and she doesn't need to be portrayed as that unless it makes sense for the story. And it didn't make sense for the story. I don't know. Could have been a better movie. Could have been a way better movie. And I sincerely hope that it changes. Now, this video is way too long, and I hopefully will edit out my rambling. All in all, not great. Won't go see it again. I probably will never see it again unless I'm forced to. And that's about it. One film I'm super excited to be seeing is Cats. I heard it's the worst film in decades, so I am pumped to be one of the only 12 people who will see it in theaters. So I will hopefully create a video on that. We'll see how that goes. I am just, again, so excited to see a horrible movie. I'm ready to like vomit in the theater. Like, I'm expecting to throw up. And I am pumped. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. Any criticisms, I'm more than happy to hear it. I definitely want to improve the channel and just like how I present and stuff like that. I hope you got to see more of my personality through this video. If not, I guess I'm still fake. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a good night, a good day, a good afternoon, and as always, a goodbye. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Bye.